Here's how I see the world, and here's where I'm operating from as someone who works with people to liberate from suffering. One, I'm highly influenced by the worldview of Classical Tantra. And what that means is that I'm deeply interested in the body-mind complex. Each one of us, what we actually are is awareness. And then there's all this conditioning, all this programming, all these identities, all these roles, all these things that we play. And a lot of them are not, none of them are a problem per se, until they start to become a problem, right? So if you're carrying a belief, for example, that you're not enough, and trust me, every single human pretty much carries that belief. It's on the deepest part of the operating system. But if you're carrying a belief and you're identified with that belief, you believe it is who you are, I am that, I am not enough, then even though you might know intellectually that you're carrying that belief, it's conflated with your identity. And because it's conflated with your identity, you cannot do anything about it, because to do something about it, to get rid of it, is the same thing as getting rid of yourself or dying, right? So when I'm working with clients, a big part of the way that I work is helping them to rest back in the awareness that they are, so they can start to disidentify from the beliefs and the programming and the conditioning and the identities and the roles. And once that happens, then we're literally able to go into the operating system, like the hard drive of the operating system of the body-mind complex of the human being, and we can go in and identify something like a belief, undigested emotional residue from the past, what we would call in Tantra karma, but what would get called now trauma, often the same thing being pointed to in a different kind of way. We go in and we can just devour, digest, and dissolve it. Like, it is so freaking simple. Like, it is so simple, so simple. That does not mean it's easy though, because first we have to unhook the identification, for example, and then we have to, there's all these kind of defense mechanisms, adaptive strategies that get in the way, that attempt to protect us from feeling the really painful stuff. So often when I'm working with a client, what we're doing is we go in and we map the psyche. We map the adaptive strategies, we map the defensive mechanisms, we map the beliefs that have been installed. Because the thing with a belief is that usually a belief gets installed on top of really painful, undigested emotion. And the belief itself protects the person from fully feeling that emotion. So you can know intellectually what the belief is, but because it serves a really important function, protecting you from feeling painful, challenging emotion, you can't get rid of it until you've actually fully felt that emotion. So when we go in and I'm holding you, right, and you feel safe, critical piece, you must feel safe, the person must feel safe, then you can fully feel that emotion. And when you fully feel an emotion with no story, no narrative, no meaning, just pure sensation in the body-mind complex, it will digest, and now the root that's holding that belief in place is gone. And now the belief no longer has a role to play. Its function is done. And so that belief is so much easier to uninstall, because we've done the inside out work. And then when I'm working with a client, there'll be integration pieces, which are the outside in, because the mind will be in the habit of acting as if the belief is true. So even though the reason for the belief is gone, now you have to work from the outside in to rewire the way that the brain is interpreting, making sense of, and responding to reality as it unfolds.